Should I lead? Oh, hello,
Hi.
YouTube. This is our first video. We wanted to introduce our new channel. It's called Gluten Free. A galoot is kind of what I am, but maybe it's what we all are in life. And so our name is kind of about being a little clumsy, being a bit of a galoot as you explore the truth. It's also about, being free to do that. It also kind of takes on some certain modern conceptions and cultural trends, like being gluten-free, for instance. We'll explore a lot. We'll explore our family, our faith, our culture, living, parenting, all those good things.
And we're the Bakers,
Yes.
Matt and Amanda, and this is Madeline.
Madeline
She will
Baker.
make some awesome celebrity guest appearances on our channel because she doesn't nap very well. So
She sleeps well during the night, though.
yeah, she does.
Which is
We're
nice.
very grateful for
Yeah.
that. But we are very excited to start this journey of YouTube.
Yeah.
And first few ones we'll probably stumble through, but we'll get more professional and more well versed in the world of YouTube and producing videos as time goes on.
Yeah, we wanted to introduce ourselves a little bit, just tell you about who we are as individuals
And our goals for this channel.
Sure. Yeah. So just a little bit about me, kind of the important stuff, maybe. I grew up with kind of an absent father through divorce and alcoholism. My mom, solid rock, who raised me, high, emotional intelligence, very outgoing and enthusiastic personality.
Can you listen to that at all?
And I don't know. And she took care of raising me for the most part. Had a very just good high school career, kind of maxed out there for a bit though. Went to college, went to a Christian college as an atheist, despite a strong Christian upbringing, Protestant at that. Dropped out of college, was going for computer science, said, see you later after about 3 years in there. Joined up into restaurants, met this broad, and then we moved to Florida for about 4 years to pursue her teaching degree, to pursue the fruits of her teaching degree. Kind of got a dream job there. Then we decided to move back to raise a family. Madeline's our second daughter. Lillian's our other daughter. We also have a dog, Lucy, and a cat, Hobbs, who are just great pets. They have their own wonderful personalities. We have a nice home we built this year.
With their own bare hands, chop down the trees and everything. No, just kidding.
I was like, what? I became a Catholic in 2018. Far cry from my atheism. We kind of are embracing some conservative and really traditional approaches to Catholicism. Still very much learning, though, in a lot of ways. We don't have a mastery or even close to a mastery yet, I'd say, of some of the fundamentals even. But we're learning. We're learning as we go. And it's a great process. And it's kind of what this YouTube video is about, this channel is about, is that learning process that we undergo.
I'm just nervous about that sound isn't working again because it's showing that weird box at the bottom. And last time it was.
Well, you talk
blinking.
about.
I'll talk about me, and we'll
try
hope
and
that this is
investigate.
working because we didn't mention this, but this is the second time we recorded this.
Don't tell them.
So that's why I said we'll get better as time goes on.
The first time we did about 40 minutes.
And then we realized the mute button was on our microphone. So
On
that
the
was
microphone.
a great experience.
This little mute
Yeah.
button is supposed to. This is when it's on, but it was blinking when it was off.
So I'm hoping
See if
because
can
I
hear
recorded
our
a video
voices.
yesterday and it actually worked. But it's just looking a little different at the bottom. So I'm a little nervous that it's not working at all right now.
I think it's working.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can kind of hear a microphoned version of us.
Okay, then that should be working
I think we're
theoretically.
good. Yeah.
But anyway, myself, I am what they call a cradle Catholic, meaning I grew up from babyhood as a Catholic. It was what my grandparents, the faith that they believed in. My mom was raised Catholic, and then she passed it on to me. My father was not Catholic. He later converted to Catholicism when I was significantly older, but yes, grew up in the Catholic Church. But I would say more of, if you're familiar with the Catholic faith, and anyone's free to partake in our channel and hopefully learn about Catholicism if you're not. But if you are Catholic, you know that after Vatican II, the church underwent a drastic change in kind of how the faith is taught and celebrated at Mass from church to church. So you can easily go to, we're actually talking about this today, one church near us is actually very modern. And then, downtown Grand Rapids, where we go to church, they're very traditional. We could go to a very traditional Mass. And so after Vatican II, there was that big change. And I would say that we both agree, after going to your RCIA classes, that significantly the catechism that was taught to particularly my generation, but even my parents' generation, was quite poor. So even though I'm a quote unquote cradle Catholic, I mentioned this, actually, I did a video yesterday about my own stuff, but I'll get into that later. I'd say my faith was very weak until I actually went to RCIA with Matt when he became a Catholic. I learned so much about the Catholic faith that I had no idea was even a big part of it. So it's kind of embarrassing as a Catholic when I'm around all these very traditional people that they know so much, and I just feel like such a novice. So even though I did grow up Catholic, I wouldn't say very strong faith at all. I went to public school out in the country area where I'm from, Apple Country, and I graduated high school and really wanted to actually pursue a career in science. I have a very high passion for science, especially nature. I really, really loved marine biology. So I wanted a marine biology degree, but living in Michigan, there's not a lot of marine life because we don't have any oceans near us. So unless I wanted to, I might take her out. Oh, Dada, you want to?
So she's very interested in marine biology. She's an avid aquarium goer. If you take Amanda to the zoo, she will tell you about everything that you see, which is always a fun experience.
But I decided instead, after kind of stumbling through my first year of college at a liberal arts university, I decided that marine biology was not for me. Obviously, I didn't really want to travel across the country. So I pursued my other passion, which was education, because my mom was actually a teacher. And I did spend a lot of time throughout my years growing up volunteering in her classroom. So it was kind of a natural fit for me. I really felt very comfortable in the classroom. So since I love science, my professors and stuff suggested doing a science education. Integrated science is my major in college. So I graduated with a degree for teaching elementary up through middle school science. And at the time when I graduated in 2011, there actually were a pretty big scarcity of teaching jobs in the state. So I subbed in the state of Michigan.
Oh.
That's why we went to Florida.
There was a scarcity of jobs
in
not of teachers.
Yes, scarcity of jobs in the state of Michigan. So I substitute taught for a year and worked in the restaurant that we met at. And then I kind of got sick of waiting around and interviewed in Florida, where I had a friend that was teaching, and I got a job pretty much right after that. I think I got 2 or 3 job offers, picked the one I'm so happy I did because I loved it there. And Matt came with me, and like he said, he found his calling down in Florida as well. We both had pretty much our dream jobs, I would say. If we were job-based people and really that was our number one priority in life, we probably would have stayed down there. We've talked about that before because we both were extremely happy with the way things were going in terms of our careers. But we got married while we were still living in Florida, but got married actually up here in Michigan where our family is. And when we were in Florida that last year, once we were ready, we said we're ready to start a family now. It was pretty immediate when Matt suggested starting a family. I was like, okay, let's pack up. We got to get going back to Michigan, starting a family down here.
Both of our families are here. Now we
So-
have a competitive market of grandmas
It's pretty nice.
to babysit, which is special. It
Mhm.
helps us get through.
I just
all of
knew,
it.
I mean, I don't know if you really thought so at the time, but I knew at the time that I really wanted, I was extremely close with my grandparents who actually live next door to now. I was extremely close to them growing up. And so I knew I really wanted my kids to have that kind of relationship with their grandparents. And so it wasn't even a second thought for me. I'm like, I'm not going to live over 1,000 miles away from our kids' grandparents. So they only get to see them a couple times a year. I want them to be able to run over to grandma's house. I mean, I didn't really necessarily envision right next door, but I still wanted them to be able to have that really close relationship with their grandparents. So that was really important to me. And so we moved back. We got pregnant that first year back in Michigan. I had a teaching job here for that 1 year when I was pregnant. And I loved that job as well, but quickly realized Matt had suggested actually maybe even before we got married, Matt had mentioned to me that he thought one of us should be a stay-at-home parent. And when I said, that's funny, you must be joking because there's no way I worked this hard, dedicated this much time and energy and money to my career just to give it up for folding laundry and changing diapers. What was your response? You said, I'll do it. I'll stay at home.
Yeah, deep down, I knew that my slothful and lazy tendencies would not be sustainable in the stay-at-home environment. And soon, I think we both learned that traditional gender roles sometimes are really traditional for a reason.
And to me, it took being pregnant to really realize that. I mean, I knew I wanted to be more at home once I got pregnant. I knew I wasn't going to work full time. But when I even looked into part-time teaching, it was still like, number one, there's not a whole lot of opportunity out there, unfortunately, for being able to be a part-time teacher. Not very many schools or principals will even allow it. But then also, when I started thinking about actually the logistics behind it, I was like, this isn't even going to work. Oh, she's not happy.
Hold on.
Because I was, sitting at school so late, working on grading papers, answering emails, and just getting ready for the next day. And even as a halftime teacher, I know
she'll be fine.
I knew as a halftime teacher it would not be ideal. I wanted to really be able to dedicate myself 100% to motherhood and be able to take care of my family.
So I think that's it. That's a wrap.
No, come here. If I need to, I can go feed her. And I want to commit myself 100% to my family. So it was an easy decision for me. Here, I'll get her to calm down.
It's all good. We just, getting into that's really a lot of who we are. That's kind of some basics. But a lot of our thinking is what's really important for us to talk about. Why we want to do this is, it's good for us to express our thoughts. I find myself coming from a place where in the past, something like this, I'd be very trying to influence the perception that people have of us and our family. But coming to terms with being a lot more honest now about what I think, believe, even if it's wrong. It's kind of the gluten idea of this channel. And we're gonna embark on that. We're gonna embark on some sensitive topics, some difficult topics, some ideas that might be controversial. But we're ready to do it because pursuing truth is what it's all about. And I'm gonna go help out with this baby.
No, you can keep talking. You done? You're under